Okay, I just finished chapter 23 and have some things to say. Good things and salty things. Excuse me. I think I'll leave the salty things for the end just in case you don't want to hear it. But I do have some honest takes that I need to give. I'm going to write something down just I do have some honest takes, and I have loved this series on the way. This was a massive chapter. I've loved the Malazan community. I can't believe people have been so awesome and patient and great amidst some of my saltier moments. Like at the end of the Bone Hunters, I got a little annoyed with the ending there. Lost some subscribers and things like that, which is fine. But, I wouldn't want to watch someone who wasn't really enjoying this thing that I loved as well. So, it totally makes sense. And I'm glad that some of my woes here are at the end. But I'll leave them at the end of this video. And I'll go through some of the stuff that I liked. I just write down one more thing. I have a Word document up. I was doing these scene by scene reaction things, and it devolved a little bit into I just didn't want to put that out, and I don't even know if I'll put comments on this video because I don't want people to have pity on me not having a connection or feel sorry for it or something. But kind of long story short, it's just not resonating with me, this ending to the series, and it's been a big bummer. But I'll go into details for that later, and it's very possible. I mean, not even possible. It's very probable that some of it has to do with some of the stuff in the real world that I've been so invested in, but also it's been a busy month. It's just been a busy month, and it's very probable that that's had an effect on things. It's been a hectic, crazy, wild month. Some of the good things though is in this chapter, and it's not going to be super comprehensive, I don't think, because there's so much that we could talk about, but I don't want to just kind of overdo things in ways that maybe other people will do if they're super connected to it. But here's some things that I thought were cool. Like the freezing of the bay was freaking awesome, especially considering where it goes with the fire and Sin going nuclear. Basically, it had that freezing and ending with fire was awesome. I liked the thing with Bryce revealing the name, ripped so many characters, like Stormy and Gessler and Tanakalian and Krukava, right? I liked the thing with Bryce. I didn't totally understand it, but I liked him. I liked his role as the keeper of the names of the lost gods. I thought that was cool. I didn't totally understand why it was melting this forkroll or whatever, why it was such a major deal that the forkroll god that was forgotten, the name being expressed did that. But something did resonate with it, even though I didn't understand the details. It did resonate. Thought it was pretty cool. The IMAS and stuff being made whole from the blood of Fenner was another thing. I didn't know what to think of it initially, and I still don't really, but it's kind of cool. Olar Thiel straight up sucks. I don't like her. Don't like she has a crush on Tool. That is not the way to get his attention, lady. Yeah. I did like the reveal about the the Emperor using the Talani mask, where it seems when we read about them in Seven Cities, where they were just, it seems so brutal. But it seems like the Emperor was using them in a way to kind of protect them from being used from someone who would have worse intentions, right? Something like that. A lot of the things that we get at the end with like the Jagged and the IMAS fighting together, we knew that that would happen. We knew that that was going to be something to kind of be a part of this ending here. Thought it was cool, but again, you know, not as cool, not as epic as I thought. Like it was going to hit me, and like just a lot of these things, like I was so engrossed when I started this. Like I have like 250 Malazan videos in, you would think like, here we go to the end, and it's just I don't know. I feel bad that it just hasn't hit me very, very hard here. I like the reveal with the white-faced Barghast and kind of that they were used to serve the Forkrel. Tool fighting and talk watching on was another part, and the bridge burners showing up, Whiskey Jack, and him saying, like, do you really think we were going to, what does he say? Did you really think we were going to, like, not help or whatever he said? Say no, I think. Like, it's powerful, great. I've been waiting for this moment, but I think I've overthought, like we knew the bridge burners were going to show up eventually. I kind of thought we were going to get it at the end of House of Chains. And I think I've just thought about it so much that some of that oomph has just left. Like, we got a total, like, Helm's Deep Gandalf coming over the ridge with the Rohan. Like, we got that. And I think I've just overthought it, to be honest. Hood becoming mortal and getting bit on the foot and hobbling along, and then Stormy and Gessler getting killed, and Hood saying, I've had enough of your justice, was powerful. But there's a lot of things where in this last book, people have, like, we've seen characters get emotional. And I've been reading it thinking, why am I not getting the same resonance as these characters, when earlier in the series I was getting that same resonance? And like, there's just a disconnect now. There's just a disconnect, which is like the worst thing. But I'm glad it's happening now, and not like 3 books back where, like, it would, like, you know, I've kind of, I'm just not enjoying it as much, and I'm just not loving the ending as much, and I'll get to that. The thing that did hit me, though, like, it wasn't all this. The thing with Tool seeing Heaton and Heaton and Tool's kids was great. Don't totally understand it. It kind of reminded me of the end of Gladiator. Spoiler alert. Like when he dies and then sees his wife and son, and I don't know if that's what's happening or if they're made whole and they're, like, alive again. And he sees talk. Like, I'm not totally sure what's going on. I'm pretty sure they've passed on and that's what's happening. And that's pretty cool too. And I like that the bridge burners, like, are a new, you know, they have, like, a new role and stuff like that, which again, like, anyway, let me go into some of the salt. And if you don't want to watch it, like, totally understand. And because I don't want to, couple things, like I want to write too, and I would hate to see people enjoy my stuff and then just really disconnect at the end, especially if it was something that, writing it, like I put my heart into it, and I know Steve has put his heart into it. Like, you can see his heart everywhere in this series, and you can still detect that in the writing. But there's some kind of disconnect where I've like it's just not hitting me anymore as much. And a part of that might have to do with the real life stuff, but part of that is the writing, which I'm just, it totally makes sense that the compassion for the crippled God would be a major part of this ending. It makes sense. There's been compassion everywhere. But I can't tell you how much I don't want to hug my way out of this series regarding the crippled God, and how it totally makes sense, but I just am not satisfied with it. The prologue of Memories of Ice made me feel like so excited for the rest of the series. Stuff with the crippled God, especially, but the stuff with Callum. No, not Callum, Callor. And I know I've mentioned it before. And I know that Malazan breaks tropes, and you can't expect anything. I've heard that expressed a number of times, but I don't agree with that sentiment that you can't expect anything, because I think you should. I think it's important to be able to expect things, not necessarily in the details, but like people have said, you're never going to guess where this goes. And I think going into House of Chains, I thought, oh, it's going to be like the crippled God in the end is going to be like the good guy, or and I still don't know exact, we're going to think differently on the crippled God. But I don't want to hug my way out of this. There's so many battles and things, so people are going to hit back on that. I hope you know what I mean, but probably not. Super disappointed about I like the theme of people change, and there's a reason for things, but I feel like it's been too big of a series for that to be the ending. But that's just me, I think. I was so excited for Callor. And I'm very annoyed by the Forquerel Assail in the end here. Because I feel like if we were heading here, and maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just not understanding the series. But I feel like in the same way that the Azath house just shows up at the end of Gardens of the Moon, I'm frustrated, and I feel like the Forquerel is that for this series. Where if we were going to have, I would rather have read the whole stuff with Callum than get to this with the Forquerel Assail as the ending to the series. If we were going to get this I feel like we should have got more of their influence leading up to this. Because we have, I don't know, maybe I'm just not understanding it, but I feel like I'm understanding the gist of basically what's going on, and I just don't like that. Now we're getting a bunch of Forquerel Assail, and we're all united against that, and just, I don't know. It's like we're getting everything and nothing with how much is going on. And not at all what I was expecting, and that's fine, but it's just not resonating. There's so many things unresolved. Are we not getting back to Saren Pedek? And it's great that you can that this whole world is created in a way that it leaves it so you could jump into any of these things, these moments, like the whole Carcanis. I'm interested in that if it's contained. But I don't. It just seems like so many loose ends that it's just not satisfying to me in the end here. The last major hurdle, and I think, I've made it. I've said it before. I've stated it, but I guess I'll do it one more time because it is a major hurdle for me. If the first book was written with the style of the last book, I wouldn't have kept going with it, and I mean with like the sex jokes. The amount of times I've read tits and like, oh, when he gets back, I'll give him a ride to remember. Like the first books were not like that, and I feel like the tone is just. I feel like I've been blindsided with what was such a, it was like it's so much. There's so much more vulgarity, and that's fine if that's your thing. But like, that's why I don't go to a Song of Ice and Fire, because I know what is there, and it's just not my thing. And when I've read this far into it, and then it's like, and then I'm gonna just dump this all into the last two books. It's been a major hurdle for me. Like, it's actually made me angry at times. And it's fine. It's fine if you want to have that. But it's been very frustrating as a reader to, like, I don't know. And I feel like I'm going to get blowback for that, if anything. And I don't want to offend Steve if he ever watched this. Like, I don't like art. Your art is your art, and I agree with that, and I will fight for that. But I feel like it's like the shift at the end is not the same as what, and it has to do with these types of sex jokes and things, which really has brought me out of it. And it's been a major hurdle in the last couple books. It's like this change of writing style, which I don't think I would have kept going if it was like this. And I get that a lot of people would probably, it just bounce off their back, and that's fine. But if the other books were maybe as much as this, with some of the, maybe I wouldn't keep going with the other ones. Anyway, I've really loved. I really loved the first three books, and I guess, you can't have expectations of where it's going to go. But I've been super disappointed in Perrin. Disappointed in him. Disappointed in the Bridge Burners. Disappointed in Calor was the big one. And if we're hugging our way out with the Crippled God here, in a sense, and I don't mean that literally, but it feels like that's what we're doing. I think I'm disappointed in that. Where the heck is Silver Fox? Like, if that's what I mean, it's like you can't have expectations. Well, yeah, you can't have expectations if you just keep adding new people and then not. Now I'm getting really salty, so. Loved the series. I've loved the series, but I'm super disappointed. And I hope that in the next chapter I'm not going to be as disappointed. But I think I know where we're. I think I know kind of how I'm going to feel by the end of this. And that's a big bummer. considering people seem to love the ending pretty universally. And I want to love it too. But yeah, just some hurdles. So I'll talk to you on the next one.